almost identical time frame for the movie I Am Legend.
That is a very piquant observation, I must say.
He just wanted to be the first one to mention it.
Speaking
So,
of
okay,
I Am
Thrash.
Legend, there's
I told Damien in a private chat earlier that, like, if he wants to bring it up with Thrash, that's on him.
So, is it then?
Yeah, I just want to let you know we've already talked about Planet of the Apes, Finch, and On the Beach. So now it's your turn.
What was the middle one?
Finch. Tom Hanks and a robot.
I'm not familiar with that one. I apologize. Of course, I'm the other two, and I got to say,
do yourself a favor and don't ever familiarize yourself with it.
Dan doesn't like it. Damien does like it.
I do.
I've never seen
it. It's one of those things. If you don't have anything better to watch, it's an okay movie to watch. So
I decided for the purposes of this, I was going to keep it in terms of apocalyptic events that wouldn't detract from the human drama. So I'm not going to use alien invasion or story arcs where humans become some type of monster, even more so than they already are.
Right.
And as a result, I'm going to avoid.
So no zombies. No zombies.
No zombies. I that doesn't say guys don't go ahead, because that's perfectly valid. But I thought the best survivalist stories are ones where you have the shit it's the fan event and the aftermath. So I'm going to stick with that. And I'm going to do probably the granddaddy of them all. I'm going to do The Road by Cormac McCarthy.
You beat me to it.
Sorry.
I knew somebody
It's
was
okay.
bring it up.
That was my next one. So
this is quite possibly the high water mark of the post-apocalyptic genre.
Agreed.
Which isn't to say it's really accurate. In fact, I've spoken to naturalists who say it's still cozy catastrophe compared to what this type of event would actually be like. That being said, they really, really, really tried to give it a feel of what it would actually be like. There's no sugarcoating. There's no there's one or two cases where the survivors get a lucky break, but of course that's survival, getting a lucky break. Whereas they say in The Martian, it's you just move from one disaster to another. That worked the other way as well. Every now and then there's something of a windfall. If you didn't get the windfall, you'd be dead, so we wouldn't have a story. So I do forgive the couple of times he lucks out, but this is one of those movies. The funny thing is, it didn't get a huge release, as you know. In fact, my understanding is if it did make it to Cape Cod at all, it was gone in a couple of weeks. So I never got a chance to see it in the theaters. But I heard so much about it, I went out and bought the book and read it first, and I'm so glad I did. Because for those of you who haven't read the book, it's really one long paragraph. Because it's basically the main character's recollections, and he's not taking time to use proper grammar or sentence structure. He's just
I don't like it.
And it messes with me so bad when Pon says stuff like that. Because in my mind, I think of Cape Cod as an island, and in my mind, I see like Amity Island, like in Paul's movie. I'm like, well, how many theaters could there be on that little mother?
Oh, there's a bunch. There's like
I looked at Google Earth, man. Yeah, I know. It just to me, when I see it in my mind, I'm seeing this little teeny tiny island that Jaws was on. Or something.
No, it's an actual big island, not so big as Madagascar, but not so small as Block Island. So somewhere in between those.
I was just saying I don't like the book because I don't like Cormac McCarthy's writing style. Like, it's nothing against the actual plot or any of that. It's just it's too much for me. It's too stylized. It's trying to be. It feels like it's trying to be edgy on its own. It's trying to be like somebody who like wants literary agents to pay attention to him. That's what it feels to me. And I can't get past it.
And I could buy that. But I read the book first. And for those of you who've seen the movie and say, how could it be any darker? It is. But
I don't doubt that.
But it is. But the amazing things about it are, there's one thing, and I've actually talked about this with a lot of people who make their own short films on YouTube. One of the things that I find almost cliche in most post-apocalyptic works is that they feel the need to give you exposition. There is none in this. It's implied it's a nuclear war, and he's living in the nuclear winter. But he never actually says it. You extrapolate that from the same clues he's got. But there's no, like, in The Day After, where there's a news report and they kind of fill you in on what's going on, or threads where there's actually a whole segment where you see the evolution and just sort of kablam. And the desperation, not just him, but in the other people, it creates a mood. And yet somehow there are still distinctions. Not everyone is just out for themselves, which I wouldn't say gives you hope, because there's no hope in this book, but it just shows you people will act differently, even ones trying to survive. And bear in mind, this is something that they always talk about, when there's a shit hits the van event, every man for himself. We are hardwired to work together. We wouldn't have survived otherwise. When we were like a very, very small clutch of mutant mammals, like going up against saber-tooth and mammoth and mastodon and whatever the difference is, we couldn't have made it were it not for the fact that we have a collective skills only rivaled by the insect community. And I think there would be a certain amount of people pulling together. Maybe it would help, maybe it wouldn't, but it would be there. And again, I think the road is.
You do see it in the movie in the cannibal groups that come through. They are banded together.
Exactly. I was like, even in that sense, there would be a certain amount of collectivization. You know what I'm saying?
It took over half an hour before somebody mentioned cannibalism. I'm actually surprised.
Ding, ding, ding. Am I the winner? Do I get the prize?
You are the winner. You are the winner.
Okay. Thank you.
The secret word is cannibalism.
Cannibalism.
If you had cannibalism, you win a prize.
Oh, there's Indy telling us the difference between a mammoth and a mastodon. There you go.
I knew someone would do it, and I had a pretty good idea who that would be.
The mastodon tastes more like beef.
I always thought they tasted more like pork, personally, but anyway.
I'm not familiar
Never read
with
Time of the Wolf.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I'm not familiar with it, but I can say the road is extremely grim.
Yeah, it is.
It's bleak.
It is one of the most realistic and bleak and painful to watch. And I mean, you end the movie just like, I don't know. I watched it last night. I'm not gonna lie, I shed a tear at the end when the father died. That I've watched it multiple times, but every time I watch it, it's just like you get this hole in your friggin' body. You know what I'm saying? Like deep down inside, from just how bleak it is, as you said. So
there's only been one movie ever hit me like that. The end where I was like, oh, really, man, bam, that sucked. And I think that was The Mist.
Yeah,
that's one of the bleakest endings in all of cinema. Yeah,
that's a horrible ending. Oh my
so
God.
Bad, I wanted to kick somebody in the balls.
And
beautifully horrible ending.
And it deviates bizarrely from the Stephen King original, and I don't know why they did it. Now, there were a couple things King said, oh, interesting take, I like that. But for the most part, it was just like, Stephen King had a really amazing ending for it. It was one of the things that really turned me on to Stephen King when I was like in middle school. And they just decided, well, let's make it more of a surreal ending. I'm like, dude, no. But of course, while we're on The Mist, I just want to say one other thing. One of the things that I thought made The Mist really, really work is the monsters were almost comic level. It's like they were just so bizarre, it made them scarier. In the movie, they tried to make them authentic monsters, and I thought it detracted from it so much. I mean, the flying stingers, they look like big slugs with like giant fly wings, and for some reason that like I found that horrific when I was a kid. In this, they made them more like flying
like
bats,
giant mosquitoes or something.
Yeah.
The movie The Mist, to me, I think the stars, the acting, and the story in this rare occurrence really outshines the shitty special effects.
Oh, the performances were outstanding, and you could have a game drinking every time someone who was also in Shawshank Redemption was in it. By the way,
Oh yeah,
well, yeah, Frank Darabont.
Drink. Oh yeah, he was the prosecutor. Drink. It was fun. But yes.
But yeah, back to the road. Yeah, that is a yeah. Anyway, that is a scary thought, or scary take on what it would really be like if the world were coming to an end like it did. And one thing that I thought was interesting was, I'm not sure that they never actually say it in the book, from what you're saying, Thrash, that what caused it, but they hint at it may have been nuclear war. In the movie, I was trying to break that down. I was like, how did the world come to an end? And I looked at different clues in the movie, and it had to be, from what I could see, because that you could tell that at some point there was a tsunami, because there's a bunch of boats up on a highway. Okay, so it had to be an asteroid in the movie. It's either that or a super volcano, one of the two. But it couldn't have been nuclear war in the movie.
Well,
may have been in the book.
Yeah,
but
that's an excellent point, because what I did was I was married to the idea of nuclear war from the book, so I didn't bother to extrapolate when I watched the movie, because I like I said, I was linked to the idea.
And in the movie, there's the earthquakes all the time, so that could be caused by, super volcano, or a very, very large asteroid causing crustal displacement issues after.
And to explain all the soot.
Yeah, all the soot.
Which is why it's the respiratory disease.
Yeah,
it's the really amazing thing, and they really hammer this home. It's almost like a scene they have in the day after, where it's like, well, what caused all this? Does it matter?
Yeah, that is true. Does it really matter? But I mean, I always have those questions when I'm watching movies like this where they don't tell you what the cause was. It's like, well, what caused it? It's like, I gotta know. So I gotta
prefer it that way,
take apart. Yeah, I know it's a mystery to solve. So I have to look at the clues in the movie and be like, well, it can't be this, and it might be that, and this is the most plausible. But I agree, it's most likely a super volcano. Could have been an asteroid, or
thank you. I never heard it that way.
But yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I like post-apocalyptic movies where you don't know what the cause was, but there are hints, and the hints can go in multiple directions. You can kind of take them as you want. Like Robert Kirkman, the guy who wrote The Walking Dead, he legit spliced in little teases of possibilities throughout the entire series. And in the end, he said, if you really want one that I think is true, it's the aliens. And people are like, what? Where did that come from? I love
Plan 9 from outer space.
Maybe, but that's probably more like what they did with Lost.
Yeah,
it's like you don't know, do you? So you're just saying that to throw us off.
Well, the J.J. Abrams mystery box, that's a whole nother thing. Yeah.
What would you bring Lost up? There's no reason to bring Lost up.
But it's just the fact that they didn't know, or they didn't want to tell you where they were going, so they would make up.
They didn't know where the hell they were going. That was the problem.
Lost is a chapter of my life that is lost to me, because I was
that was
so
my favorite show to the last season.
Yeah, no, that last season I was done. That was it. So.
When they brought Michael back, I'm like, I'm out. You wrapped up one thing in 5 years, and now you're revisiting it. I can't do this anymore, guys. I can't. Yeah. I've had one subplot completion, and you're taking it away. Have fun.
Exactly.
I got all happy. I got all happy when all of a sudden people started time traveling. So I had to stick with Lost even longer after that.
That episode, The Constant, where Desmond is going back and forth and trying to reconnect with Penny. I mean, that's the best episode of the entire series for me. So. It's very Slaughterhouse-Five.
I love all these episodes in the hatch where everybody has to push the button or you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites too. Was the hatch.
I was like,
what the heck is that?
True story.
Happens. I was trapped on this island.
I was in a shopping center years ago, and I used to have much longer hair. And there's a couple next to me, and they're like, and I'm ignoring them because none of my damn business. Until finally the lady looks over and said, "Excuse me." I go, "Yes," and she goes, "Do you play Hurley on Lost?" And I said, "No, I play Sawyer." But I was actually flattered because I do see a resemblance. I got to tell you guys. But yeah. But just before history rolls over it, if we're going to talk about the Kirkman positive negative mega series, The Walking Dead, you know what my favorite origin of the entire thing is? I subscribe to the theory it's of the same universe as Breaking Bad. What happened was some crazy chemist was trying to recreate Heisenberg's formula and inadvertently triggered the chemical which caused the pandemic.
Sure. Okay. That's
Okay.
fun. It's
Maybe.
a nice bit of headcanon. Sure. Why not?
And there are several clues that allude to the fact that it is of the same universe, by the way. That doesn't mean that it is, but there are clues.
That would explain why the mess zombies are really fast.
And as for Indy and Texas talking about the wildfire virus, like while that is mentioned in the book series, it's mostly a TV show thing. That was Frank Darabont kind of going off the reservation at the end of season 1. One of the reasons he was actually kicked off the show.
Yeah.
One of, not the main reason, but one of them.
He couldn't make up his mind.
He couldn't.
And some zombies have no cognitive skills, and others they do. Some can barely walk. In some they can actually climb chain link fences that can make up your mind. You know.
Maybe that's based on different levels of infection of the brain.
I mean, you can post hoc a reason, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing about zombology. You can just make up something that sounds good.
I've never heard that word, but I love it.
Zombology, really? No, that's it's actually when people take zombie literature and try to come up with a cohesive cryptoscience about it. It doesn't work because they go in so many different directions. But it's fun.
I thought zombology was some kind of African resort village.
Mm-hmm.
Chirp.
Could be.
Chirp.
Maybe it's in Zimbabwe or Zimbabwe. One of the things that I really didn't like about the movie World War Z was that they changed the zombies completely from the book.
I was about to bring that up because in the book they do actually get into some of that zombology. Yeah,
but also like the zombies are like your stereotypical slow-moving dead things, and in the movie they're like from 28 Days Later. They're like running at you full speed. You know,
they're more like army ants. They're actually
because they actually coordinate.
They're not zombies. Them are the infected humans that have some virus.
But in World War Z, they're dead. They are zombies. In World War Z, they're dead.
They still have a heartbeat, though.
No, they don't. They're
dead. Not dead.
They're dead in World War Z. Yeah, that one zombie that was on in the movie, the one zombie that was on the cot in North or South Korea, wherever it was, that was still twitching, even though it was dead. You know, I mean, it was burned to a crisp. There's this little crispy critter there, and its hand is still twitching. Yeah, they're dead. They're dead. But they're still alive, still moving. But in 28 Days Later, they're alive. That's a completely different zombology, you know, since we've made up the word zombology.
Zombies were like the 28 Days Later zombies.
Yeah.
And yes, Doug, I couldn't resist.
Yeah.
But what bothers me in World War Z is the fact is they're not just as strong as a human; they're stronger than human.
Yeah.
They're faster than human. They create like army ants, where they create like ladders. Do you know what happens when you stack people up 7 or 8 stories? You
liquefy the bottom layer.
How is this working? The laws of physics are coming into play. But these are special zombies.
Yeah, you get squeezed zombies at the bottom. You get,
zombie juice,
fresh squeezed zombie juice at the bottom.
They would, you know.
But that's they went way overboard, and I know they had to try to make that movie like more exciting, I guess, for the audience or the demographic they were shooting for. But
they should have just.
I think the book by itself was like wonderful. I mean, it was an excellent take on how a zombie apocalypse could go about, and how you turn around the end and whatnot. And then the movie came out. It's not even half the story, and it's completely different. So it's like, kind of sort of followed a little bit, but not really. Anyway, so good book. Okay, movie. I mean, the movie by itself, if it was not called
if you take away the title, it's
you take away the title and call it like Brad Pitt Zombieland or something, then that would.
It's
Yeah,
not
sure.
horrible. but it's
Does
not
this count
great.
as somebody's pick, by the way, or were we just?
I don't know. It's in here now, I guess.
It just kind of came up organically.
It happened.
Just like zombies.
Smoking zombie turds for 100, Bill.
So I guess
All right,
it's
I
my
think that-
turn now.
Yeah, brings it back around to Tug. I
move it around.
gotta go get more coffee. I'll be right back.
Okay. So since cannibalism was already brought up, I'm going to talk about Delicatessen. This is a post-apocalyptic cannibal comedy, where like we're in post-apocalyptic France, and there's a guy set up who basically runs an apartment building in the post-apocalypse, and he has a kitchen downstairs where he, serves up his guests. It is a goofy, weird, very French movie by Jean-Pierre Jeunet, the same guy who made Alien Resurrection. You want to talk about bad alien movies? I love Delicatessen. It's probably my favorite movie of his. That's not. I mean, it doesn't have Ron Perlman. That's the one downside. It's the one Jean-Pierre Jeunet movie that doesn't have Ron Perlman in it.
But Alien Resurrection does.
Yeah, Alien Resurrection does. Like, don't get me wrong. There are things I like about Alien Resurrection, but it's not a good alien movie. Okay.
City of Lost Children.
Yeah, City of Lost Children. That is a really good one. That's right. Yeah. Same guy.
I have not been able to finish that movie. I started it once and it just annoyed me.
You should watch
too much.
Delicatessen, because Delicatessen, you can't turn that off.
Okay.
It's
City of Lost
mesmerizing.
Children was really bothering me for some reason. I was like, I'm gonna have to watch this another time, and I've never.
You
come
have
back
to
it.
be in the right mindset, because
Yeah.
there's no dialogue really. There's like a
Yeah.
couple of lines, but that's it. Yeah.
The amazing thing about Delicatessen is there are precedents which actually make it less far-fetched than you would think. It's basically Sweeney Todd.
Sweeney
set
Todd,
in a
yeah.
post-apocalyptic setting.
That's
Also,
exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
well, sorry. Also, according to lore, there was, I guess, what you would call a bed and breakfast on Nantucket
I didn't know
in
Data's
the
brother talked about
1800s, where the innkeeper was actually doing that.
Yeah.
Occasionally, guests who I guess didn't pay their bill were ending up on the menu. If I understand correctly, he was a serial killer anyway.
I would assume so if they were ending up on the menu.
Yeah.
But he figured he'd kill two stone birds with one rock, where I'll kill them and then save on meat costs. And so, I mean,
Well, they're paying off their debt through service as
at 89 cents a pound.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's like Sonny Bean, that Scottish legend that inspired The Hills Have Eyes, about like the cannibal family living in a cave and robbing people and then eating them.
That's not a legend. That's a true story based on facts.
I've heard both sides of the argument. I don't plant my flag either way, but I just call it a legend and leave it at that. Pseudo historical.
I want a big bean company to call themselves Sonny Beans.
I base my research on newspaper articles and court records.
Okay, I mean, fair enough. I mean, I know people say they found the cave, and I've seen pictures of the cave, and it's actually pretty compelling. So I would believe it if it's true. Totally. I don't know. I'm not a historian.
And I love the subplot that his daughter is a vegetarian.
Oh, yeah,
and how even in a post-apocalyptic world, you can have picky eaters. Somehow I found that to be deliciously
There's like this whole underground resistance movement of vegetarians literally living underground. I think that's hysterical. I love it.
I wouldn't know.
It's really a great movie. It really is.
I wouldn't know so much about the whole Scottish cannibal thing, but my daughter and her husband just went and visited the place, and I got told all about it.
Oh, nice. Fun.
Yeah, they actually went to the cave and all that crap. And
it's like right there on a beach somewhere. Yeah. Neat.
It is. But yeah,
Cannibalism.
great choice. Yeah. The musical. The grass is green.
Say, I brought that one up. I was waiting for Thrash to get here to bring that up because I was pretty sure he'd seen it. So, Delicatessen. Highly recommend.
Awesome choice. Awesome choice.
And yeah,
Well,
there's a clown.
I've seen that, but I think I saw a trailer.
Yeah, I don't think it had a theatrical release here in the States. I saw it in the lead up to Alien Resurrection because I wanted to know more about this director. So I watched all of his movies. And Delicatessen and City of Lost Children really stuck with me. So, yeah.
I think when I found Le Dernier Combat, someone said, well, if you're into French post-apocalyptic films, which I wasn't, I just happened to hear about Le Dernier Combat. They said, you got to check out this one. I go, okay.
Sure.
So I guess Danny, would Danny be up next?
It is Dan's turn again.
I don't know. He brought up Delicatessen, and now I'm getting hungry. You know.
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt. The cover of Delicatessen, or the poster, I just have to bring this up, is a picture of a pig, but it's a really long pig, so it's a long pork. Anyway, go ahead.
Now I want to see the poster, but you got your post-apocalyptic movies, and there's always something that calls it a virus, or a comet, or a big asteroid crashing down and Deep Impact kind of thing. And I thought, you've seen all this over and over and over again. It's been done to death. You know what hasn't been done to death? Apocalypse by Dragon. So I have to bring up Reign of Fire.
It's on my list. That's awesome.
You can bring up dragons, it's cool. Is that not the craziest post-apocalyptic movie you ever seen?
It's one of the nuttiest, for sure.
It definitely unique.
Apocalypse by something I don't think it ever been done before or since. How many movies can say Apocalypse by Dragon?
The Dragon Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost like they wanted to do dinosaurs and said, well, we'll get sued by the Jurassic Park people or the dinosaur attacks people. So let's see, what's close to dinosaur? I know.
Dragons.
They did this movie so great. And the way the ancient dragons discovered under a London sewer and wakes up, trashes the city. The guy who first sees it grows up to be the kid who has to fight it. It's just a great story, man. And it's a post-apoc. It's better than the freaking Postman.
No debate here.
You're not setting the bar very high there, are you, Dan?
And I got you one of my favorite parts of any movie I ever seen. And it's one that I still think about and smile and go, that's freaking funny. It's the part where they're doing this play for these little kids, and it's freaking Star Wars.
It's so great.
That's a part of the movie you actually remember that sticks in your mind.
I don't know. I always think of Matthew McConaughey jumping at a dragon with 2 axes. That's the image that sticks in my mind.
And he's got the flask, which he takes a very dramatic swig every now and then. You find out it's just river water.
Yeah.
Matthew McConaughey. I think that's Matthew McConaughey's best movie, to be honest with you. Which again isn't setting the bar very high.
Yeah.
But
I think it could be one of the few movies he's in that I actually like.
He's very well cast in that movie.
Yes,
because you wouldn't expect him to be as good as he is in it, but he does amazing job.
and Christian Bale, who's, let's be fair to him, a nutcase, I thought was he did an outstanding job in it. And one thing about that scene where they're doing the Star Wars thing, yes, it's a little play for the children, but what does it end on? It ends with a cautionary tale, and that's what pre-industrial society was like. They'd have these little plays, but they would always incorporate a life lesson in them, hence Brothers Grimm and all that. So they really put thought into what a post-industrial society would be like. Oh, and one other thing, by the way, I remember years ago, I can't remember where I was, but someone get into a heated debate about, dragons would be a pain in the ass, but how could they destroy the entire planet? They actually, there's a section where there's exposition, and I know I oftentimes think exposition of monologues are a cop-out, but the dragons in Destroy Civilization, the humans trying to stamp them out kept nuking cities. Oh, look, they're in New York. Blam. Damn, we missed. Oh, look, they're in London. Blam. Damn, we missed. Oh, look, they're in Moscow. Blam. Oh, damn, we missed. We destroyed our own infrastructure trying to take out the dragons. Almost would have been better if we just sort of learned to live with them. Like the sparrows in Gang of Four China.
That's what the Jurassic Park series should have done. It should have gone post-apocalyptic. Like the last few Jurassic Park movies are all just horrible treading water movies. They should have just changed the universe completely and made it post-apocalyptic. So that would have been more fun.
Dinosaurs have taken over the earth and humans are living in caves again.
It could be like Reign of Fire, or it could even be like that indie movie Monsters. Yeah, it could be something like that. It'd be great.
No, it's too much. We don't need nothing no more than dragons because dragons makes it cool.
If you can do Mars Attacks as a feature film, you can do Dinosaur Attacks as a feature film.
Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Here's a great idea. We can do,
comic book.
Dino Tornado.
Dino-nado.
Dino-nado.
I think zombie dinosaurs would be better.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Zombie Dino-nado. There we go.
From the director of Carnosaur.
Yeah. Ooh, Zombie NATO. That would be an interesting movie.
I love Rain of
Zombie
Fire.
apocalypse and tornadoes come through.
I used to consider it a guilty pleasure until I discovered that almost everybody else loves it too. So, good pick.
It is a great pick. Love it.
I still have not seen it.
Check it out.
I don't believe you at all.
Okay. Sorry.
Thrash fell for it. I didn't.
Mm.
Okay, so your turn, Damien. What do you got?
I'm going to do what he did while I go and grab a cup of coffee.
Okay, go for it.
All right. I'm going to go with. Some people might say that this isn't really post-apocalyptic, but I'm going to say that it is, because the apocalypse is that people can no longer have children.
Children of men. Yeah.
And it has happened already. And this is people living after that has happened. It's like, 15 years afterwards or something, or 20 years after the last child was born. Or as far as they know, at least.
Yeah.
There still have been some children born, apparently, but nobody knows about them. But anyway, but it's kind of like follows through with, as society collapses, the end is coming. Everybody knows it's coming. Another 50 years and there won't be anybody left. So what's the point? Why are we,
carrying on?
Why are we carrying on? Why are we, trying to build anything anymore? Because there's no future for humanity. So there's no reason to try to, push humanity forward and stay civil and, make a future for ourselves. People are descending into chaos and anarchy and, not caring about anything. And then there's also the whole, Britain is the last place that has any sort of like semblance of governance and order. And so there's all these immigrants coming in and they're all being, they're all trying to deport them at the same time. And there's immigrant camps and all kinds of stuff. And some of it's kind of, mirrors some of the things we've seen today, but not to the same extent, of course.
No, I mean, but it does feel like a distinctly British movie too, because it's a direct response to that, carry on mentality, that stiff upper lip mentality. British. Yeah. Like it's kind of saying
keep that calm and carry on.
Yeah. If you have no hope, why would you do that? Right.
Yeah.
And if you have no children, you have no hope. That's kind of the whole point. Yeah.
Yeah.
I counted as post-apocalyptic only because when I was Googling post-apocalyptic movies, it was in every single list.
It was on every list I went to as well. Yeah. It was also in multiple YouTube videos of best post-apocalyptic films. And so I actually watched it. I watched it for the a couple weeks ago for the hard sci-fi thing. But then I thought, nah, it doesn't really fit. It's more post-apocalyptic than it is hard sci-fi, even though it is kind of sort of hard sci-fi. It's not really hard sci-fi because it's not really very sciencey.
It kind of pretends to be.
Yeah. It's more high concept hard sci-fi than it is hard sci-fi. So I was like, no, I'll save that for another one. And when you came up post-apocalyptic, I was like, thanks. I watched that movie. So. But it's just an interesting take on, society's slow decline and, what happens when there is no hope. So it's just another one
I like
of those.
movies where the end of the world is coming, like Last Night, stuff like that, where like they know they're gonna die. What do people do? But this one, like you said, it's a really slow burn. You've got your life still ahead of you, but once you're gone, it's over. There's nothing.
There's nothing after you.
Yeah.
You leave nothing behind, and neither does anybody you know. Yeah.
Fascinating on a sociological level what that would do to people, and I think the movie does a really good job showing it.
I agree.
I must confess, I've seen the movie. I did not read the book by P.D. James. I do know for a fact it actually is an homage, if you will, at least loosely an homage to my favorite dystopian book of all time, Greybeard.
Yep.
Which, when you want to talk origins, apparently after his second divorce, the marriage where he had his first children, his wife left him. And he was so devastated at the loss of his children, it was a catharsis. His friends actually recommended that he sit down and write a book. So he wrote a book about there being no children and what the social ramifications of that would be. And it's absolutely staggering. And I guess P.D. James was inspired by that when she wanted to write, as you say, a book of how would people act in a world where you don't necessarily need to obey the rules because there's nothing to obey rules for. And I guess she thought a world with no children would make a good template. One of the things I find, and it's an irony I keep coming back to, is that I spent my years growing up where they were terrified about the problems of overpopulation and the biosphere giving out and the lack of resources. And guess what, gang? We've just lived to see the worm turn on that, the pendulum swinging. And now we can't figure out why the fertility rates are dropping so catastrophically. I think, and I'm basing this on nothing other than pure speculation, it's a natural solution, shall we say. In the same way, rats, when their subgroup overpopulates, they become cannibals. Nature has a way of trying to instill little safeguards. Well, not that bleak, but I think because we've exceeded our holy population, naturally, fertility rates are dropping. Now, that might be a blessing in disguise. We might actually go back to a sustainable population. The problem is that bottleneck. When we're in our 80s and we outnumber the young population by about 5 or 6 to 1, that might be a problem. But I don't intend to live that long.
There are those that are arguing that that's already happening. Like Japan's population collapse. The population replacement rate is not high enough here in the United States. We're only at what, 1.8 or was it 1.8 or 1.6? No, I think Japan's 1.6. We're 1.8 or something like that. But half of Europe is the same. There's a number of other countries, like Canada has the same issue, where they're not replacing their population fast enough. And because of that, there's going to be a population bottleneck at some point where there are more older people than there are young. And what do you do when that happens?
You ever see Day of the Triffids?
That's on my list.
Indy brought up a good point there. He said, I think the movie didn't show people going as far as they really would, but that would be an unfilmable, chaotic mess. So they hint at it, though, in the movie.
They hint at the world outside of Britain.
The world outside of Britain has fallen into chaos, and that's why everybody's trying to immigrate to Britain. And that's why when they're trying to get rid of people, they're trying to deport people, they're all like acting like it's the end of the world, and they're all crying and carrying on and so on and so forth.
Let me make this perfectly clear. That it has to be a fantasy movie. No offense, Pons, but the last place anybody wants to go in the end of the world or an apocalypse is to a freaking island with no resources, trapped on an island with all sides open, easy to be invaded by anything from anywhere. An island isn't a good place to be anytime.
The land war is much easier than trying to invade an island with a landing. Just like
we're talking about post-apocalyptics. We're not talking about Genesis, the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
So anyway.
Well played. But yeah, it's an absolutely outstanding movie, and I think it does hit on what the social ramifications would be. And again, in reality, probably a lot worse. But I like the idea that it shows how a society would basically devolve, is the word I always go back to. But yeah, I thought it was excellent. And again, in a world without children would be a commodity. And they talk in Greybeard, they have something called the Infant Top Corps, which is supposed to be like the Red Cross, where they go into war-torn countries and try to save the children who are being killed in these civil wars. And in reality, it's just a paramilitary organization where they kidnap children in the third world and bring them back to Britain to repopulate the British Isles. And it's like, I can see this. I can see it. And no offense, Britain, we'd do it too. We'd do it to you guys. So it's like,
absolutely, yeah. But like I said, I feel like the movie needed to be set in Britain. I think that was like part of the DNA of the movie. Yeah.
Yes,
And part of the reason why they still have a government is because they are an island, and just like in World War II, there's a reason why the Nazis didn't invade Britain, because that's a hard thing to do.
They just bombed the hell out of it.
They just bombed the crap out of it.
Well, Operation Sea Lion was a fairly neat idea, but it was very, very, very risky. And Hitler despised the concept of amphibious warfare.
Yeah.
Thankfully, his opponents didn't, but he did. So
exactly. Yeah.
Excellent choice, Damien. I
thank
freaking love Children of Men, and you didn't even get me started geeking out on the filmmaking behind it, because I think this Alfonso Cuarón's masterpiece. But we don't need to go
one other point in that movie was that I liked is it was made in 2010 or no 2007 or 2006
somewhere in
or
there.
Like
Yeah.
I thought it was 2000. Yeah,
and it was supposed to be taking place 2 years from now in 2027. Some of the technology that they showed in there, like their projection of what we would have. It's like they have cars that are electric and they have cars that are gas still. They have cars that have navigation screens in them, but it's nothing super futuristic. It's like an older car that's got an older system in it that's got a little keyboard on it and stuff. I just thought some of that was kind of neat.
No, I agree.
And then some of the other little technology things like the phones and computers and so on and so forth all don't look that far off from what they actually are today. So they did a pretty good job at projecting technology 20 years in the future in that movie. But
anyway. So did the guys who made that Tom Petty video. You got lucky.
But anyway, that's aside from the point.
In 1984, he predicts dial-up. The only difference was it was a rotary phone.
It's analog. It's all analog. Analog computers.
But it was very prophetic. I believe, but he and Turling actually knew each other somehow too. By the way, I'm not entirely sure. I think they, or at least had a mutual friend or something. But I digress, because 1984 is not post-apocalyptic. It is most definitely dystopian.
Yeah.
But,
yes.
Yeah. But am I up?
Yeah, It's your turn.
Your turn.
Super. Someone, and forgive me because I've been trying to read all the comments and having very degrees of success, but someone brought up When the Wind Blows, and that is actually on my list. Ironically, It was the one directly below the road. So I'm going to go with When the Wind Blows.
It was Donovan Blair who mentioned it.
Thank you. And thank you, Donovan. Wear Your Love Like Heaven. Google it. Anyway, it was a song by Donovan. Anyway, the Donovan, not Donovan's brain. In any event.
Great movie, though.
When the Wind Blows was part of that whole 1980s nuclear awareness mentality where opinion was divided. Half the world seemed to think if you prepared, you could survive. The other half said you can prepare all you want. You're all going to end up in the same place. And When the Wind Blows I'm hard put to call it a dark comedy. I just can't seem to categorize it as anything else. It's an animated film, and it's absolutely fantastic. And it's, again, talk about Britain. It's set in Great Britain, but it's set in this sort of incurably quaint backwaters of Britain. And it's this elderly couple who survived the Blitz, who think the same spirit can be used to survive a nuclear war. And it's absolutely tragic just how misinformed and naive this couple, who are incredibly sweet, but just are. And one of the things that's great, and I read this somewhere, so I did observe it myself, but I'm borrowing the phraseology. They say, we watch in terror when the couple tries to do these little things to carry on, because we know more than they do. Then the filmmakers harbor under the delusion that people going to see it would kind of pretty much know what they were getting into, so I don't have to explain it. But there's one scene, they lose all their drinking water. So the husband comes with a great idea. He gets every cup and bottle in the house and he puts it out and collects rainwater. And the audience is like, no!
If it ain't coming out of a well, you don't drink it after something like that. So.
it's things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And also one of the things, and I dare not call, I certainly never survived an apocalypse, but when you survive like a natural disaster, which is the closest thing that I've ever come to, like after Hurricane Bob, the village I actually lived in for a period was actually cut off from the rest of the world. There's only 3 roads going into it, and all 3 of them were massively blocked by fallen trees. So we were on our own, but we knew the rest of the country was going to dig us out. They did. But the reason I bring this up is with a global nuclear war, there is no one going to dig you out. And it's so funny because they're like, oh, the Yanks will save us. Oh, the Yanks will save us. Oh, the Yanks will save us. The Yanks are worse off than you are. the Yanks, if they are alive, they're just reverting to cannibalism third time in the show. So, but again, it's just this wonderfully charming yet horrific film. And they do this thing which was actually really big in England at the time. There was a mini series, I believe it was called To Protect and to Serve or Protect and Survive. I forget, but it was this BBC presentation where they tried to show people how to prepare and survive a nuclear holocaust. And when you watch it, you just want to giggle because it's like one of those like duck and cover
Cafe,
50s
yeah.
where it's like this isn't going to help. So that's my pick.
Good pick. I was obsessed with this movie for a while when I was younger. Probably like in the 90s when I discovered it, and I just watched it over and over again. I kept renting it from the video store and watching it again just because it stays with you. It really stays with you. And it's that perfect principle from I think it was Hitchcock who said that like true terror comes, or true suspense comes when the audience knows more about what's going on than the characters do.
Oh, it's free on Tubi.
Oh, is it? Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I should see it.
Yeah,
again.
it's on Amazon Prime too. So yeah.
Oh God.
I have never seen it, but I'm gonna have to watch this because I've seen Threads, I've seen, The Day After, I've seen all the nuclear disaster.
It's one of those animated movies from the
my
80s
list.
that was made to disturb children, like
Yeah.
Watership Down, that kind of stuff.
But when I seen it, I didn't put it. Watership Down to me was a lot more disturbing than this movie.
I agree. Watership Down's really bad.
To me, the two key words in this are animation and blows.
Well, on that note, I think for my pick, I'm going to pick a movie that I'm pretty sure Dan likes.
Don't pick a cartoon.
No, it's not a cartoon, although it kind of feels like one at times. But I want to talk about Hell Comes to Frogtown.
You bastard! Oh, that was my movie, man. It was literally the one I was going to do next.
Awesome. Well, we can talk about it now.
I have not seen that one.
This is Roddy Piper in the post-apocalypse, where I think most men have gone sterile or something, and he has to transport somebody, or he has to save somebody from a roving gang of frog people. It is completely batshit insane. It's a New World movie.
No. Get it right. Roddy Piper is the last fertile man on earth.
Yes,
that they found. There might be others that they've found
who can impregnate women. Unfortunately, certain women are fertile and others aren't, and they don't want him to waste his jism, so they put a special thing on him. What do you call them? They used to put them on women.
Chastity belt.
It's a blast.
Or he can't do nothing. He's electronically controlled by a female, and he's on a mission to break into the horrible frog town where the fertile females are being held prisoner by the lizard people, and he must rescue them and impregnate them to save mankind. It's a great in-depth movie. It's not given credit for its Star Wars like appeal.
And in a true social commentary angle, what happened is the frog people, lizard people, they're mutants. They're people who were affected during the war and have devolved into these horrible, hideous monsters. Unfortunately, due to a few lucky tricks of fate, they control the areas of I believe it's oil and other material. So they economically they control what's left of the country. So it's this weird thing about how what we're the discriminated minority have actually taken things over and are basically getting their revenge, specifically by hypersexualizing human females. Because they actually talk about this. It's like the one flub in Eye of the Beholder is how should I put this? What would cause? I mean, I understand generationally.
There you go. Generationally.
Good job.
You know,
Spit it out.
depictions of beauty would change, but initially they'd be very set in stone. So even though the mutant frogmen have mutated into frogmen, they still think hot humans in typical form are the most hot. So they're trying to capture females for their own, let's just say gratification, leave it at that. But there's a lot going on in this movie for what was really something college kids were watching when they got stoned at 2 a.m. So that I really think it's a great pick.
And I think the women need to consider the fact that frogmen have those really long frog tongues.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't think I've ever seen this, but after I'm looking at some Google pictures here of like scenes from the movie, I think I may have seen this at 2 o'clock in the morning or something like that. A long time ago.
It's one of those movies.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So,
he also did the movie They Live, and they kind of go together as his two best friends, believe it or not.
Oh, I love They Live.
I love They Live. Yeah. I think I love Frogtown better. I think Frogtown nudges it out. But
of all the wrestlers who turned into actors, I think Roddy Piper is probably my favorite.
He's good. Yeah.
Well, he's better than Batista, who was doing them.
Oh, and that's also free on Tubi. Nice
movies.
He had a recurring character as an aging wrestler who was suffering from being hit in the head too many times on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and he was actually really good doing it. I don't know if any of you guys watch It's Always Sunny.
Funny, actually. I saw them clips.
Anyway, yeah, Hell Comes to Frogtown. You should absolutely see it, Damien. It's fantastic.
I'm gonna.
It's very good. My movie. I can't believe we were on the same
watch
way.
It again, I guess.
I like when I was making my list, I wanted to bring up movies that I'm pretty sure we haven't talked about before. Mm-hmm. I mean, I started with Planet of the Apes, but other than that, like I didn't think we talked about Hell Comes to Frogtown before. And his name is Hell, by the way. That's like his name.
Okay.
Of course.
Yeah, it's not spelled H-E-L-L. It's H-A-I-L.
Something like that. Yeah. Like Heil.
Hell. H-A-L, maybe.
So
I'll look it up for you. Give me a second.
But technically, Danny, it's still it's now your turn, because even though you didn't get your pick, it's still your turn. So
yeah, you get to pick another movie.
I feel like we shared that when we were in communion. We
Simpatico.
Take another pick.
While we were in communion, let's go to the movie that actually used degenerative Hell Comes to Frogtown sets from the. I'm not sure which one used them first, though. I'm really not.
I know where we're going.
And a lot of the same costumes and a lot of the same everything. And that's a horrible movie. And hell, it might be from the same universe, called Tank Girl.
Tank Girl. Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's ever seen Tank Girl. I love this movie, man.
Now I got to take that off my list. See?
I've seen parts of it. Or maybe I have seen the whole thing. I don't know.
I sat through the whole thing once a long time ago. My memory's still foggy on it a little bit.
It suffers from what all movies based on comic series suffer from, and that's you have to encapsulate so much into 105 minutes. It loses a lot. I enjoyed it, but I thought it probably worked better as a Netflix miniseries. And I can't remember the girl's Lori Petty, who did. She's the one who they ended up with. She did a phenomenal job trying to fill the shoes, but she was, I think, not properly cast. They had somebody else lined up. I can't think of the actress' name to save my life, who would have been perfect. And she bailed at the last minute. And Lori Petty tried to save it. She admitted she played it more. Tank Girl, she should have played it straighter. Lori Petty played it comic book spoof hero type, very tongue-in-cheek. I think it would have worked better.
It reminded me of Adam West on Batman. It was that bad, a tongue-in-cheek.
Nail on the head.
So because what movie? Well, you cannot go wrong when you got mutant bunny people who hump all the time.
I thought they were kangaroos.
Are they kangaroos?
I was going to say, I thought they were
they're kangaroos.
Yeah.
Kangaroos.
I haven't seen the movie in 20 years, but
I think the last time I saw it was probably again at 2 o'clock in the morning, like in the late 90s sometime.
It's one of my wife's favorite movies.
I thought the damn kangaroos were rabbits.
Well,
it's a movie I've
They
seen
did have
more
the
time than I care
ears
to
because
admit.
they kind of look a little bit rabbity.
Yeah, same damn
What
thing.
I know about the behind the scenes stuff, it's a miracle this movie ever got made. It was basically cobbled together at the last, like everything happened at the last minute. And all like half the movie had to be cut out and replaced, and it was a madness. It's amazing anything happened, and the movie's even semi-coherent, which is actually being kind of generous. The movie's kind of incoherent. But to me, it feels like a perfect distillation of the 90s. Like it is the 1990s in cinema form. I absolutely love this movie. It is, again, batshit insane, but I don't know. Like, and like I said, it's one of my wife's favorite movies. When we got married, she's like, "You have to see this movie," and I had skipped it because it looks stupid to me.
We can't get married unless you watch this movie.
Basically, yeah.
It's a deal breaker.
So, I watched
I've
it.
done
and
worse
I
for
love
less.
it. Yeah, there's other movies that she's made me watch that I have not loved, but Tank Girl, absolutely fantastic. And one day I will do a video on it because the behind the scenes stuff is fascinating. And any movie where Malcolm McDowell's the bad guy, come on.
I never know. I don't know why I like this movie so much. I just remember, I can't remember the plot, but I remember how much I like the scenery, the action, and I don't think it had one.
Iggy Pop as this bizarrely effeminate bouncer in a brothel. You know, it's like
Iggy Pop is like the king of cameos. He's great whenever he shows up. I love him so much.
And I love the fact they kind of, and help a brother out here. Was the first movie where they discuss in a society where water is precious, it would be squandered by the rich just to prove that they were powerful? Did that first come out of Michael Valentine Smith, Stranger to Strange Land? Because I know in Dune, they're always the rich squander water just to show that they can, and they mop it up and give it to the poor people. But the whole thing about the Martians is water was so precious to them, and I think
I think that might be the first instance. I'm not really sure, but that's a good question. India, but just
in the nightclub where they are just wasting water because hey, look what we can do because we're rich and powerful. You know, we don't think of it as a big deal in our time because I can turn the faucet on in any room in the house.
Well, here in this part of the world, yeah.
But just the fact that to them it's like, wow, they're wasting water. What an extravagance! Or remember Soylent Green when he turns on the faucet and it works, and he's like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, amazing pick, and I really do. Tremendously flawed, and you're right. You should do a show on the behind the scenes stuff because I only touch upon one. I know there's a lot more.
There's a lot. Yeah. I'd have to do a lot more research before I do it, obviously.
So, Damien, you up?
Yeah, I guess so. Again, I'm not sure if this would really count as post-apocalyptic.
Only indie minds, it's fine.
Okay. But it's kind of like, well, it might be more dystopian future than anything. So maybe I'm going to skip that one.
Okay.
Sorry. Oh no, you have to tell us what it is now.
All right. It was Elysium.
You can just say it and then skip it and go to another.
Elysium.
Oh, Elysium. Okay.
Oh, Elysium.
Yeah. It's more post-apocalyptic, or not post-apocalyptic, but dystopian. Yeah. So I'm gonna go with well, this is the only one I have with me right now because the other ones didn't show up, but I've seen the other ones so many times I can talk about them forever. But Mad Max.
Oh, of course. I knew somebody had to bring it up. It was on the freaking thumbnail.
Yeah. So I've got Mad Max Fury Road here, which I watched again for the first time since I watched it the first time after it came out.
Wow.
I'm not a huge fan of Fury Road. It's okay. It's very over the top compared to, and I mean, that's hard to say when you're talking about Mad Max, that something could be over the top within the Mad Max
Fury Road
universe.
Does have the guy playing the guitar with the flamethrower attachment. Yeah,
which I thought was really cool, but it's still.
I saw that movie in 3D. It was so worth it.
It's still a little over the top. It's like the one cool thing about the movie. It's like action. Little pause. Action. It's just constantly.
It's just one car chase. The entire movie.
One giant car chase. The entire movie, which is kind of cool. But I think it was a little over the top as far as that goes. I much prefer the original three. especially the very first one, which could possibly be considered not post-apocalyptic because the very first Mad Max society is still somewhat functioning. They're just
It's left very vague. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have any.
Mad Max movie unless it's got the old Mel Gibson in it, buddy.
Yeah. They don't have gas.
The original one seems like it's post-apocalyptic just because it's set in the middle of Australia, which is the closest the Earth has to a post-apocalyptic
a post-apocalyptic wasteland.
But actually, can I share something?
Okay.
Because I've actually done some research on this. I'm not interrupting you, am I, Damien?
No, go ahead.
All right. I always thought that it's dystopian in Mad Max and post-apocalyptic in The Road Warrior because there's an off-camera war in between.
I was about to get to that.
Well, actually, I was wrong. The war actually happens before Mad Max.
It does and it doesn't. So there's a war that happens before Mad Max that causes a oil shortage the entire world over. And that's the scene of Mad Max, is we don't have gas. Gas is precious. There's very, very little of it, which is why they're fighting over it in the movie. I mean, stealing gas from each other and so on and so forth whenever somebody crashes and so on. And that's causing society to slowly go downhill because they don't have the resources to run trucks all the time and get things shipped in and so on and so forth, because there's been a war over oil I think it was in the Middle East or something like that, according
that would be where it started.
Yeah, where I read it. And then in between that and the second one, there's a nuclear exchange. And now we're in post-apocalyptic society. So that's where I was saying is the first one's kind of sort of not really post-apocalyptic survival. It's like kind of during it. And then
according to my research, the nuclear war has actually happened before. And I you know what? I'm actually going to do some digging, because if I'm wrong, I'm going to apologize later on. But
maybe I'm wrong, but that's the research I did.
What's happened is, and that what I was going to refer to is
before or after a nuclear war.
I know George Miller has said that his canon is fluid. So
but what happened is Mad Max is essentially a darker version of On the Beach.
I have the answer.
I agree with you there, Thrash.
Thank you.
I have the answer right here.
You're going to force it down our throats, so go ahead.
Mad Max takes place after the events of in the first movie, but before the events of Mad Max 2. It takes place in the middle. The nuclear war takes place between the two movies.
I stand corrected.
Okay. So Dan's AI says that Damien was correct.
But I completely agree, Thrash, because I was actually going to bring up that point as well, is that Mad Max, the original movie, is almost like if on the beach they didn't all die. It's partially based on that whole concept of, it's we're all gonna die. It's coming for us, kind of thing.
Australia.
It's like, and it's in Australia. Very good. Yes.
I think
I completely agree with you there, Thrash. Yeah.
I think of all three of the Mad Max movies like one long post-apocalyptic nightmare movie, ending with the greatness of Tina Turner.
Well, yeah, we all know that Beyond Thunderdome is by far the best one. Yeah,
because Tina Turner's
it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Look, I when I watch Mad Max, I watch all three of them back to back, just like you said, Dan. I think of it as like one long movie.
I always thought the Road Warrior was the best one of them, personally.
It is.
I will say that Part 3 had the best soundtrack of any of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. It did have a nice rocking soundtrack.
Best music, man. Holding out for a hero right there.
I did like the third one. I think I like the other two better.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not like The Godfather where 1, 2, and we don't talk about. It's just 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah. 3 is kind of an extension of what's going to happen or what continues to go downhill. Where we end up later on. Farming pig crap to make methane to run our vehicles. I mean, that's actually a
thing.
Not a bad idea.
It isn't.
It works too. But it's kind of like the extension of what happens in the Road Warrior. What happens next is 20 or however many years it's supposed to be down the road, like 10 years or something like that after the Road Warrior. I can't remember.
I like that. I like that. I mean, we can certainly understand if Max has gone batshit, You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? He's
Well, you're
with all the
definitely
trauma.
He watched his wife and was it son or daughter, wife and child die.
Just a baby.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
which drove him nuts, and that's why he became Mad Max. So,
And his best friend got all like, well, we all know what happened to him.
Which was a recurring pattern for Mel Gibson movies.
yeah,
For some
and,
reason.
it seems to continue to happen. And
That's not the goose.
No, I
Anyway.
do think Road Warriors is definitely the standout of the.
Did you know that Mad Max took place in 1984?
So did
I think I knew that at
1984.
some point, yeah.
That's
No
right.
one's gonna
Yeah,
laugh at
it takes place in '84, and then the Mad Max Road Warrior is supposed to take place in like 1990 something, and then the next one is like the end of the '90s. I can't remember what the timeline is. I haven't looked at it in a while.
It's horrible.
All I
Yeah.
remember is when I covered the Road Warrior on my channel, I actually invited one of my Australian friends to do a segment on my episode, and he actually hated the movie.
A lot of
didn't go over too
Australians
well.
do. They say, we made some really amazing movies back then, and all you people remember is Mad Max and the Road Warrior. I'd be a little insulted too. It's like, oh, you Americans made such great movies. I loved your Rambo. That's all you remember.
Rambo is the greatest American movie ever made. Okay.
That better not be all you remember. You
Yeah.
know?
He also couldn't get
Well,
past the
I-
fact that they keep calling it gas because they don't call it gas in Australia. They call it petrol.
That's true.
Yeah, it's petrol. Yeah.
And they had that really good Crocodile Dundee movie where we thought everybody from Australia were backward
Very good,
tests.
Damien.
Hillbillies.
Mhm.
Oh,
84,
and they don't drink
87 sorry,
Fosters
84,
either.
87, 2002.
Yeah, they don't. Foster's is nasty. I don't like Foster's. So
But I jokingly, I was waiting on this guy who was from Australia. This is ages ago, and I go, "I'm sorry, sir, we don't have Fosters." He goes, "We don't drink Fosters. I think it's cheap. We only make it for export." And I go, "Leave it to the Yanks not to get the joke." You know,
It's like Corona,
yeah,
You don't drink Corona if you go to Mexico. You drink Dos Equis or that
Well,
other
Corona is
Sol
what you
or
piss
whatever.
after you drink
Modelo.
real beer. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Modelo.
I do everything
Yeah.
I can. I do
Modelo,
everything I
Modelo.
can. I do everything I can to avoid Corona.
Mhm.
Well, my doctor
We
won't
all
let me
have
drink
for the last
Italian
5
beer.
years, yeah.
Most
He says
when
I'm
I
liable
went
to
to
get
Mexico,
Peyronie's
most people were
disease.
drinking what's that other one? It's like Sol or something like that. SOL or
Oh yeah, that
yeah.
yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's like
Yeah.
I want to say like Terrasol, but that's not it.
yeah,
When I was
it's
going
good.
into the
It's good stuff.
alcohol
I like that.
reviews,
But
Yeah, it's just salt. Yeah.
Then that's Saul, folks.
But
Okay, Thrash, if you have to go, you can go, or you can have your last pick. It's your choice.
Yeah.
No, I that's why I was late because I was trying to get my ducks in a row. So
Oh, okay.
I have more time on the back end if it's cool with you guys.
Yeah, it's
you
fine.
have
I'm in a hurry.
they're in
I
a
have
row.
nothing to
You
do
have
today,
ducks?
so.
I don't.
Well, speaking of ducks, after this, in like half an hour, I have my video on Howard the Duck dropping. So.
Oh, I
Finally.
can't wait. One of my favorite movies.
Oh boy, Howard the Duck.
Sorry. I'm sure you'll be fair and even-handed. Like
There is
me.
actually a clip of you and Danny reacting to me telling you I was making Howard the Duck.
Oh, you honor me. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I
So
don't imagine what I said. Oh God.
I'm going to going in order, by the way, because when I don't, I give myself a headache trying to remember what I covered. And I'm
Fair
even gonna
enough.
check. So my next one is something we've already touched about at least twice, I think, so far, and that is the BBC masterpiece, disaster piece, Threads.
Nice.
I can't say I love it. I caught this on PBS when I was 17, and I was a Reagan youth. I was an ultra conservative. I was, better nuclear war than commie blah 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 rhetoric.
Michael Fox. Yeah.
Yes.
Mommy,
Yeah.
Mom.
Oh, he was an appeaser.
Nice.
But I saw this movie and it like disturbed me. It like stayed
That's
with me.
disturbing.
It's
Some of the
its job.
images haunt me to this day.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing I just want to throw in there just before this goes over. I was such a teenage boy at the time. Now it takes the two couples are starting to prepare their life together, and that's what makes it all the more disturbing. Is that things don't really work out, but he has this kid.
Urban Cowboy. God.
Urban Cowboy. What the hell brought that up? Where did that come from? Anyway, moving forward. The dude in the relationship had this sister who I thought was really, really cute. And I'm like, oh, it's so sad they're all dying. Oh, it's so sad they're all going to die. Oh, it's so sad the world's going to end. And damn, she's hot. You know, and then, well, that kind of fizzles out as well. But I'm just like, I always remember when I was a teenage boy interspersing the two concepts of it's so sad when the world ends and man. Anyway, a lot of people like to talk about The Day After, and there's nothing wrong with The Day After. The Day After is an amazing work, but frankly, I just think Threads is far darker, far more effective, and it illustrates, like for example, in one of the greatest ironies of cinema history, the government locks itself into a bunker, and that's great, but there's an old military term about how a room can become a tomb.
Yeah.
Lock themselves in this bunker, but then the building falls on them. So they can't dig them out because they can't get earth movers in there because there's no roads. And their ventilation system gets blocked off. And they're actually slowly suffocating while they're trying to bark orders by radio at the world. And just the imagery of this is just, well, I'm going to throw it to you guys because, you know, I won't stop talking on this. But just Threads, I think, is possibly the most effective post-nuclear film of all time.
It's great movie, and it's very disturbing towards the end, you know. So
it's haunting. It's very haunting.
Well, it's totally unrealistic because any good engineer is going to put up a backup, redundant escape system, anything like that. You're going to have a way out.
Well, you got to think about.
If you build some structure like that and don't have a couple of escape tunnels just in case the top collapses, you deserve to be entombed in that mountain, buddy, for stupidity.
Mm.
Well, it's just the idea. Go ahead. I'm sorry, David.
It's possible that that's what happened, but also think, you know, that shelter was probably made during World War II, and they were just, you know,
even more so.
For,
if you know anything about engineering, you know about Nazis and how they built bunkers. Guess what? They had at least two ways out, if not three or four. You don't dig a hole where you're going to get trapped in, buddy. Come on.
I don't disagree. Well, yeah.
Go back to the Japanese who tunneled all through mountains. You know how many in their bunkers and in their underground structures, a Japanese tunnel system looked like an ant colony of tunnels and hives up in the mountains because you wasn't going to blow up a part of their tunnel and trap the Japanese. They were too smart for that.
Bye, Tracy.
And I'm sorry, I know a lot about military engineering. I'm from an Army family.
I wasn't going to talk about it because, I have a lot of military in my family as well. And my wife was a military engineer for many years. So
I'm like by the way, I'm probably the only lazy hippie male drug dealer that didn't join the Army or military in my entire family, including females.
So anyway, finish your thought, David.
I can't even remember
what your thought was.
Yeah. Anyways, a very bleak, disturbing movie. And there's a lot of scenes in it that stick with me, like, you know, the family taking shelter in their basement and the grandmother dies and they drag her out and leave her there in the hallway kind of thing. And then, you know, ruffians come about or whatever and kill them and take everything they had. You know, and later on in the movie, the one father who survived when his wife died, you know, they had the little shelter with their shelter was basically a mattress leaned up against the wall, which was pretty freaking stupid.
It's flimsy and stupid,
yeah, right in front of a window, you know. Yeah, let's do this. Let's not do an interior room like a bathroom or something. Let's do this bedroom right here. Yeah, good idea. Anyway. He survives, but he's like later is like just hacking up a lung, you know, dying, you know, in the aftermath, you know, drinking with that other guy, throwing up what he drinks from radiation poisoning and so on and so forth. And later on, when was it the daughter of or is it daughter of a daughter or something like that, you know, in the years and years after, who has a stillborn baby, you know, and just the whole way that she's running around in this post-apocalyptic wasteland kind of thing, pregnant, and runs into I guess a convent or a church or something, and they're just like, yeah, we can't take you. You're gonna have to do that somewhere
You're
else
on your own.
Yeah.
With
It's
no educational system,
yeah,
like language devolves into little more than
Yeah.
effective grunts, like come,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like, oh, it's like they really have no future. And it's funny because it actually goes out about 15 years after the apocalypse, and things aren't getting any. And of course, there's like engineers. Speaking of engineers, they start building traction engines because there's still metal laying around, and you still have engineers who know how to do things. So without fuel, you can make steam traction engines, but it's pointless. There's just it's not sustainable. Oh, and one thing about the grandmother, they bring the grandmother upstairs because she's dying. There's one other scene where they have to go up for some reason. The family dog is ingesting the remains.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And for some reason, it's like, well, no one's fed the dog in days. And dogs will go feral if you don't feed them. There's that wonderful subplot in don't tell me, Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah.
Where your dog will eventually think of you as food at a certain point.
Cats, buddy. I think you're thinking about cats, not dogs.
No, dogs will do it too.
They will.
Yeah.
They will. Well,
anything or anybody hungry enough will do it.
Humans will do it to other humans. Why not a dog?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cannibalism again.
Yeah.
You can rest assured, if things got really bad, there ain't nobody on this panel I would eat.
I'm touched.
Now maybe on that other panel,
you guys are just too far away.
Maybe on that panel we do on Saturday night, that might be different.
Oh yeah. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. On that note, I had a really good joke, but it's really not appropriate for this channel. So
we did it on potato salad. No, I'm just kidding.
You have to, Tug. You can't let that lie.
Please. No, I'm going. I'm not. We'll talk about it backstage.
Off camera. Okay, off camera. I'll do
it. So we're doing another stream tonight, right, guys?
Yes.
Shani, Dan, and Thrash. Yeah. Okay, so that's 7:00 Eastern, which is 6:00 my time. We're talking about the Robert Redford movies.
We're gonna remember
MTV.
Where we remember Robert Redford and tell our favorite Redford movies and memories. A few people actually like Robert Redford. I like a few of his movies too. I can't complain about everything he did, just 90%.
So that'll be fun. We'll talk about that tonight. And other than that, we're going to keep doing this for next week because my list, we've barely scratched the surface. There's so many.
I'll be a lot better prepared next week. I kind of got tied up on something yesterday and didn't have time to study for the test.
And I'll try to be on time next week, guys. I'm sorry, I'll try to be on time.
Life happens, man. It's fine. And for those of you who don't know, I've already told Dan this, but he's become kind of a permanent panelist at this point. So me, Thrash, and Dan are pretty much the permanent crew, and everybody else will be a guest. And Damien pretty much every other week when he, yeah. So that's just the way we're gonna do this for a while. See how that works out.
Awesome.
Because I love having Danny on here. So
I feel like I've won an Emmy or an Oscar.
An Emster.
As long as I don't say something stupid like a talk show host, I'll have a job.
Ixnay on the Oxshow host take.
No name for nothing, man. I made a Bell reference. In your windows.
Anyway, on that note, like I said, I got the Howard the Duck video dropping in 15 minutes now. So look forward to that.
And no matter how much you hate Howard the Duck, watch it anyway because Tug's entertaining.
Yes, exactly.
For sure. Yeah.
And I think I make a pretty good case, but we'll leave it up to you to decide. So other than that, never be ashamed of what you love. Yada, yada, yada. See you next week.
Thank you and good night.
Epic Trails.